Welcome to the Dip Dive. Today we're jumping into a really interesting review from April 26th, 2025. We're looking closely at the Indian Challenger Elite.
Yeah, that should be good.
Think of this as, your fast track to understanding what this bike's all about, the key features, why people are talking about it.
Right.
Our mission basically is just to pull out the main insights for you.
And the source material, it really sets the stage, doesn't it? There's this buzz around the 2025 Challenger Elite.
Definitely.
It's not positioned as just another bike. The review seems to think it's aiming high, like pinnacle of American cruiser luxury high,
Wow, okay.
and a top contender for serious touring. Those are big words.
They really are. So we need to see what backs that up. And right at the center of it all is that huge engine, right? The 1768cc PowerPlus V-twin. It feels like the main story here is that classic American V-twin feel, but like mixed with some really modern tech.
Exactly. That's the blend they're pushing. Muscle and brains, sort of.
So where do we even start unpacking this thing? Maybe the look, the design.
Yeah, the visuals are definitely where the review kicks off. Calls it a masterpiece of modern motorcycle design.
A masterpiece, huh?
Yeah, it highlights this blend muscular aesthetics, but also these luxurious details. It sounds like a bike that definitely wants to turn heads, but, in a classy way.
Okay. And are there specific things that make it stand out visually?
Well, yeah, the review mentions lots of chrome accents, these kind of sleek flowing lines, and that very noticeable bold front fairing.
Yes, the fairing. It looks pretty imposing with that integrated LED headlight. Is it just for looks, though?
No, not at all. The review stresses the function, too. It's shaped specifically to cut down on wind resistance.
Okay. Makes sense for touring.
Big time. Less fatigue on long rides, plus it neatly packages the audio system and the lights right in there. Smart design.
Right, form and function. It sounds like they didn't skimp on the details either. Premium finishes, chrome pipes, polished wheels.
Yeah, the little things add up to that luxury feel. And they mentioned custom two-tone paint options, too, so you can make it your own, I guess.
So the overall look, the aerodynamics, this adjustable windshield they mentioned, it all seems geared towards making long rides more comfortable.
Absolutely. The goal seems to be minimizing that wind noise, the turbulence, making those big mileage days actually enjoyable, not just something you endure.
Got it. Looks good, built for comfort. But let's circle back to that muscle, the legendary PowerPlus V-twin, 1768cc. What's the actual power like?
Okay, so the numbers are pretty impressive. The review quotes 122 horsepower and, get this, 128 pound-feet of torque.
That's a lot of torque.
It really is. They position it as one of the most potent engines out there in the cruiser world. That's just, it should pull really hard, for overtaking or just cruising along.
And it's not just about peak power, right? The review mentions smooth power delivery and linear acceleration, even down low in the revs.
Exactly. It's not supposed to be peaky or rough. Just smooth, predictable power pretty much whenever you twist the throttle. Like pulling away from lights or passing on the highway should feel effortless. The review actually says the engine pulls strongly, eliminating the need for frequent downshifting.
Yeah.
Less work for the rider.
Nice.
Yeah.
And getting that power to the wheel. It's a 6-speed gearbox and a robust shaft drive system. Why shaft drive? We see chains a lot.
Well, the big advantage, especially for touring, is smoothness. Shaft drive gives you that seamless power delivery the review talks about.
Less jerky.
Yeah, potentially. But what maybe more importantly, it means reduced maintenance compared to chain drives. No lubing, no adjusting on a long trip. That's a big plus.
Totally. More riding, less fiddling. The review also flags engine braking control and advanced traction control, safety features.
Engine braking control helps with stability when you're slowing down, especially going downhill. And traction control is that safety net, stops the back wheel spinning out unexpectedly on, say, wet roads or gravel, boosts confidence.
Okay, strong engine, smooth delivery, low maintenance drive, safety tech. Got it. So design engine. Let's move to the cutting edge technology part. What gadgets does it have?
Well, the big thing seems to be the 7-inch full-color touchscreen display. It's like the nerve center.
The command unit, yeah.
Right. Speed, fuel, ride modes, it's all accessed through there, according to the review.
A touchscreen on a cruiser definitely feels modern. Does it do more than just show info, like navigation?
Yep. Integrated GPS navigation system. Built right in. Huge convenience for touring, obviously. No need to mount your phone or a separate GPS unit.
Yeah, that's handy. Keep your eyes more on the road.
Makes the whole cockpit feel cleaner, more integrated. Everything you need is right at your fingertips, as the review puts it.
Okay, now this next one caught my eye. Adaptive cruise control. And the review says it's a first in the American cruiser segment. How does that work?
So it's like normal cruise control, but smarter. It uses radar, usually, to monitor the vehicle ahead.
Ah,
And as the review explains, it automatically adjusts the bike's speed to maintain a safe distance. So if the car in front slows down, your bike slows down too.
wow. That could really reduce fatigue on long highway stretches with variable traffic.
Big time. Less constant fiddling with the speed.
Yeah.
Just set it and, well, mostly forget it.
What about tunes? You mentioned the audio system is housed in the fairing. Is it any good? Premium audio system with power band speakers?
Yeah, it doesn't sound like your average tinny motorcycle stereo. These power band speakers are apparently designed to deliver crystal clear sound even at high speeds.
That's the challenge, isn't it? Hearing music over the wind.
Exactly. So if this works, it's a big deal. Plus, you get Bluetooth streaming, smartphone connectivity, all the usual stuff you'd expect now.
Cool. And safety tech, we mentioned traction control, but it has ABS too, right? Anti-lock brakes?
Oh, absolutely. ABS is pretty much standard and crucial.
Yeah.
Helps stop the wheels locking up if you grab the brakes hard in an emergency. Essential stuff.
Okay, so it's packed with tech, but, for a touring bike, comfort is king. Let's talk comfort and ergonomics. How does it stack up there?
The review really plays this up. Unparalleled comfort for rider and passenger. The star seems to be the plush saddle,
The seat, yeah.
made with premium materials and ample cushioning. Sounds like it's built for spending serious hours in.
Can't overstate how important a good seat is on a long haul. And that adjustable windshield comes up again here for less wind noise and buffeting.
Definitely. The review connects the windshield and the fairing, saying they create a calm and quiet riding environment. Less noise, less getting beaten up by the wind, means you arrive feeling, well, less beaten up.
Makes sense. What about just the general riding position? Handlebars, foot pegs?
It's designed for a relaxed yet upright riding posture, so not hunched over like on a sport bike. That should reduce strain on your back and shoulders.
Right.
And the foot pegs are strategically placed for a natural leg position, trying to avoid cramps on those longer rides.
And what if you're riding two up? Is the passenger looked after?
Seems like it. The review mentions a generously padded passenger seat, plus integrated backrests and foot pegs. Sounds like they haven't forgotten the pillion's comfort.
Good. Happy passenger, happy trip.
Pretty much.
And for colder weather, any concessions there?
Yep. Heated grips and heated seats are available. Those can be lifesavers. Really extend your riding season or just make those chilly mornings and evenings way more pleasant.
Definitely nice to have options like that. Okay, so it sounds comfortable, but how does a big, comfy bike like this actually handle? Let's get into handling and suspension.
Well, according to the review, it handles surprisingly well. Praises exceptional handling and stability. They credit the advanced suspension system and a well-balanced chassis.
So it doesn't feel like wrestling a whale.
Apparently not.
Yeah.
It sounds planted and secure, not just going straight, but in the corners too.
Let's break down that suspension. Up front, it's a high-performance front suspension with an inverted fork and 43mm tubes. What does inverted mean for the ride?
Inverted forks are generally stiffer and more responsive than traditional ones. Those big 43mm tubes help too. It means less flex, more precise steering feel, better control when you're pushing it a bit or hitting bumps.
Okay. And the back. Single shock absorber with adjustable preload. What's the preload adjustment for?
Preload lets you set the basic spring tension, so you can adjust it based on the load, just you or you plus a passenger and luggage.
Ah, so the bike doesn't sag too much when loaded up.
Exactly. It keeps the suspension working in its optimal range, maintaining the proper ride height and handling characteristics, whatever the weight.
The review also mentions a low center of gravity. How does that help?
Lower center of gravity generally makes a bike feel more stable, especially at low speeds, and easier to lean into turns. It contributes to agility. The review notes it helps provide balanced handling even at higher speeds. Gives you confidence.
And hitting bumps on those long journeys, how does the suspension cope?
It's designed to do a good job absorbing bumps. That's crucial for comfort over hundreds of miles. Soaking up those imperfections means less fatigue for the rider.
And the overall feel. High speeds. Less experienced riders.
The review mentions a stable feel at high speeds, which is reassuring, and also forgiving, intuitive handling, suggesting it's not intimidating even for folks who maybe haven't ridden a really big cruiser before.
Sounds like a good balance. Okay, comfortable, handles well, but touring means stuff. Look at storage and touring features. What's the story there?
Seems pretty well equipped. Comes with standard hard saddlebags, give you a combined 18 gallons or 68 liters of space.
That's quite a bit.
Decent capacity, yeah. And importantly, they're lockable and weatherproof. Got to keep your gear safe and dry.
Yeah.
They even have matching chrome accents to look the part.
Lockable and weatherproof are essential. And there's a neat feature too, right? Remote locking.
Yeah, remote locking functionality from the key fob. Super convenient. Just push a button to lock or unlock the bags. No fiddling with keys every time you stop.
Nice touch. What else makes it good for touring, besides the bags?
Well, we've mentioned the heated grips, the comfy passenger setup, the integrated audio. The review also notes you can get optional extras like a trunk compartment for even more storage and a windshield spoiler for fine-tuning wind protection.
So you can really kit it out for a massive trip. And that shaft drive we talked about, its low maintenance, really pays off for touring, right?
Absolutely. One less thing to worry about when you're thousands of miles from home. Just focus on the ride.
Fuel range is always a big question for tourers. It has a 6-gallon fuel tank. Any idea on range?
The review doesn't give a specific miles per gallon number, but 6 gallons is a pretty generous tank for this class. Should give you a decent range between fuel stops, which is great on long highway stretches.
And it all circles back to that ergonomic design, the comfort focus for rider and passenger. It really underlines the touring mission.
Precisely. All those elements, the seat, the wind protection, the riding position, the storage, the range, they all point towards making this a serious long-distance machine.
Okay, we've covered a lot of the features and design. Let's try and get a balanced picture now. Pros and cons, according to the review. What are the big positives?
Right, so the pros list is pretty strong. First, that powerful engine, 122 horsepower, 128 pound-feet torque, big numbers.
Definitely a pro.
Then there's all the advanced tech, the touchscreen, adaptive cruise control, the premium sound system, big ticks there. Exceptional comfort and ergonomics for those long rides. Ample storage with the standard 18-gallon saddlebags. And finally, that smooth, confident handling from the suspension and chassis design.
Okay, that's a solid list of positives. But every bike has trade-offs.
Right.
What are the potential downsides mentioned in the review?
Well, the first one is weight. It's listed around 830 pounds. That's substantial. Might be a handful maneuvering it slowly like in parking lots.
Yeah, that's heavy.
Then there's the high price tag. This is definitely positioned as a premium luxury item, so it won't be cheap.
Expected, I guess. Anything else?
Fuel efficiency is mentioned as non-class leading, so maybe not the most economical bike in its segment. And it has limited sportiness. It's a tourer, not a canyon carver.
Right, focus is elsewhere.
And finally, the review flags the potential for higher maintenance costs. Complex bike, lots of electronics, shaft drive, could mean bigger service bills down the line.
Okay, so weight, price, maybe fuel economy, not super sporty, and potential running costs. Good to know. But the review suggests the pros outweigh these for the target rider.
Yeah, it concludes that for those prioritizing luxury, comfort, and technology, these cons might be acceptable trade-offs. It really depends on what you're looking for.
Fair enough. Now, context is everything. How does the Challenger Elite compare to its rivals? The review looks at the Harley Road Glide and the Honda Goldwing. What's the verdict there?
Okay, versus the Harley Road Glide, the review suggests the Challenger Elite comes across as maybe more luxurious looking, more chrome, fancy paint. It also highlights the higher torque figure, more advanced tech like the adaptive cruise and touchscreen, and those convenient remote locking bags.
So kind of positioning it as a more modern, feature-packed take compared to the Road Glide, based on this review anyway. What about against the Goldwing? That's a touring icon.
Right. Against the Goldwing, the Challenger Elite is seen as offering similar long-distance comfort, but with more grunt, that higher torque again. It also points to practical tech like adaptive cruise and the dedicated audio system, maybe contrasting that with the Goldwing relying more on Apple CarPlay or Android Auto integration. Interestingly, it also calls the Challenger Elite more agile due to being lighter than the Goldwing.
Lighter than a Goldwing. Okay, that's interesting. So how does the review wrap up the Challenger Elite's unique position in the market? What makes it different?
It boils it down to three main things: that American muscle meets modern tech idea, a clear touring-focused design with practical features like the storage and shaft drive, and a strong emphasis on luxury and style.
Okay, that sums it up nicely. So thinking about all that, who is this bike actually for? Who's the ideal rider, and where does it shine?
The review paints a picture of the ideal rider. Definitely touring enthusiasts, people who love long road trips. Also, luxury seekers, those who want the premium feel and features. Technophiles, who appreciate the gadgets. and generally experienced cruisers who are comfortable on a big, powerful bike.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And the best places to ride it, the best use cases.
Primarily cross-country tours, epic adventures, also great for weekend getaways where you need comfort and luggage space, and just generally highway cruising where it can stretch its legs.
And who should maybe steer clear?
Probably not the best choice for urban commuters, too big and heavy for city traffic. Obviously, budget-conscious buyers will likely look elsewhere due to the price, and sport bike enthusiasts wanting sharp handling won't find it here.
So it's pretty clear who they're targeting. Experienced riders wanting a powerful, luxurious, tech-filled machine for long-distance adventures.
That's exactly the takeaway. It's purpose-built for that specific rider and that kind of riding.
All right, let's wrap this up. What are the absolute key takeaways from this deep dive into the 2025 Indian Challenger Elite based on that review?
I think the main thing is that it really presents itself as a powerful, tech-savvy, and genuinely comfortable luxury touring bike. Its strengths clearly lie in that engine performance, the advanced features like adaptive cruise, and the focus on long-haul comfort for both rider and passenger.
And it seems like it's making a real challenge to the big names in the touring segment.
Absolutely. The review positions it as a strong contender, offering this distinct blend of traditional American V-twin power with very modern technology and touring capability. It carves out its own niche.
So here's a final thought for you listening at home. We see this constant interplay between raw power and sophisticated technology in modern motorcycles, especially these big tours. Does the 2025 Indian Challenger Elite, from what we've discussed today, strike the right balance for you? For the kind of riding you want to do? Definitely something we're thinking about.